January 15th, Saturday.
Sorry I'm late.
No, you're not late at all. According to the time we arranged to meet, that is. It's 1:15 a.m. on Sunday at the moment. At first, when Mari-san initially decided for us to meet up at the bar the three of us went to before, at 1 o'clock on Sunday, I suddenly asked the off-point question of, a bar open during the day?
I had some work that I couldn't put off. So there was a delay on my end. I'll likely need to take the day off tomorrow.
Right. I believe you went all out last Saturday as well.
I've been off for 5 consecutive days before this. There's nothing I can do about it.
Working non-stop until 1 a.m. on Sunday is an impressive feat by itself. It seems that Mari-san's labor standards are full of holes as always. Would you like a drink?
I guess I'll have some beer first. No, actually, I don't think I'll have any alcohol today. I'll have some ginger ale instead.
Are you feeling okay?
Is it really so surprising to see me not order any alcohol?
Do you have a fever? How are you feeling? You haven't caught a cold or something, have you?
I've come fully prepared, so why are you...
It's not that I'm trying to tease Mari-san's deliberate attempt to feign being strong. It's just that she really doesn't look to be in the best shape today.
I'm not drinking for 2 reasons today. After all, Kirahara, you wanted to talk to me about serious matters, no?
Mari-san.
Well, let's start with a toast.
Mari-san takes a sip from the ginger ale that was served in front of us less than 30 seconds after she ordered it. Good work today. That's why I've put aside the unnecessary questions such as, by the way, what's the second reason, and the like, and brought my own glass to Mari-san's.
I got really tired this week, and I didn't make much progress at work either. I suppose I'm feeling a little sluggish after having a few days off.
If you put it like that, wouldn't that be cause for concern? If she's working in a state like this, it's no wonder that she's not making any progress.
Perhaps. I'm sorry to worry you unnecessarily. Still, I'm really not sick or anything.
Is that so? Well, that's a relief then.
Well, what did you want to talk about? You sounded pretty serious on the phone.
Then, well, the truth is
Give me a moment. I need to go to the bathroom.
Is she really okay? I want to stop working as a part-timer.
Uh-huh.
Mari-san finally returned and sat on her seat when my glass of cola was about half empty. Despite this, I knew I'd only be replied with, "I'm fine," even if I expressed my worry about her condition. So I immediately cut to the chase. As Mari-san seeps into the silence wearing a stern look, I can't tell if she's acting like that because of what I just said, or for another reason. I wanted to officially announce my resignation sooner or later, but I thought it'd be best if I told you first, Mari-san.
I specifically said you could only rest during your exam period. I don't remember saying anything about letting you throw this job away, you know?
It's my personal decision. However, Mari-san's clicking her tongue at me right now, undoubtedly because of what I just said. I know this might be a bother to you, Mari-san, but...
It's not really a bother. The first 2 years of someone working under us are more akin to training, if anything. Otherwise, you'll just drag us down and not bring the company any profits at all.
Is that how it is?
Look at Matsuoka, for instance. He's a good example.
I'd say he's not exactly okay with that. Constantly using Matsuoka-san as a joke isn't really appropriate.
Training even a guy like him for 2 years can make him useful. That's what the company can do.
Huh?
Well, I already started standing out back when I was still just a part-timer, though.
Is that really all she had to tell me? And here I thought she was about to explain something more complex. Well, if it's going to be like that, nothing's wrong with me resigning, right? It's not like I've been capable of helping you out much anyway, Mari-san.
Why can't you get the bigger picture?
I'm just someone who's in it for the money, no?
To the company, you're an important investment that's bound to be utilized later. A rookie caring about things like that is ridiculous.
Mari-san, who didn't seem to look all that well from the start, is getting increasingly cranky, the thorns in her words getting sharper.
But it's about time I went out and found a job. You joined us, so working for us is itself your job hunt. If you keep blabbering on too much, I'll revoke your job offer even if you get one.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Our company doesn't need indecisive brats in its ranks.
Keeping me here when I'm not needed doesn't really count as job hunting at all.
Oh, cut the crap, Kitahara. Did you really go out of your way to invite me out here just so you could piss me off?
I wasn't thinking carefully. I'm sorry. And with that, Mari-san behaves like a child looking sulky, puts her lips slightly to her glass, and puts on an exaggerated frown. However, whenever she scolds me like that, I manage to cheer up, even if only a little. I brought up my intention of resigning and ended up displeasing Mari-san to such an extent, and as paradoxical as it is, I'm admittedly a little embarrassed. Hey, Mari-san?
What?
Can I really be a part of Kyosha? After all, I might end up working under you, Mari-san.
Obviously, once you join us, you'll be in Kyograph to the end. Why do you think I still keep up my relations with my friend in HR?
Sounds like a rather calculated friendship.
You don't like the idea? Working under me, I mean.
No, I'd be glad to. Really, I'm also really grateful for what you said earlier as well.
If so, then...
But that doesn't pardon the fact that Mari-san,
How many times do I have to tell you that it means nothing to me for you to be satisfied?
I don't think it's something that's so easy to wipe away. For me, or for you, Mari-san.
It went away easily enough with just tissue. Well, I did have to take my clothes to get dry cleaned afterward, though.
What I did was the worst, most foul conduct that could be done to a woman. I shouldn't be forgiven for that.
Not if you didn't put it in.
I can't do that. I can't pass this off as just some laughable matter. After all, Mari-san, didn't your shoulders start to shake the moment I brought that up? Haven't you distanced yourself slightly more from me compared to when we came here before? Still, this may sound shameless coming from me, but I believe that I should make it up to you. I believe that I should make it up to you so that one day you can forget about all this, Mari-san. Mari-san's current attitude admittedly makes me feel a little lonely, but I do my best to speak positively. I'm sure I'll return next spring. I'll put all my effort into working to pay back what I owe you, so...
Then that's what you should be doing right now. I'll push you past your limits to make you repay me.
I can't. Not now. I won't be able to bear it. My feelings are a mess right now.
If it makes you feel that depressed, then you shouldn't have done that foolish thing. That's not how you felt, though. I'm saying don't be so depressed. No, it's my fault for bringing it up again. Forget it.
I understand. She's doing her very best to act cheerful around me, though there's one thing deep down in my heart that I can't ever forgive. I did mean to do what I did back then, which is why my feelings are all over the place right now. It's why I can't remain calm in front of Mari-san. I had acted the way I did toward Mari-san back then because I did indeed see her in that particular way. For now, I need to put some distance between us and let things cool down until I no longer view Mari-san as a woman. Though I wonder if I can really do that. Please, keep this a secret for now. In exchange for that, I'll become a more useful guy in a year, and that I'll puff out my chest and come back to work under you.
Don't be conceited with me.
Mari-san's voice was sulky, as it should be, but it was mixed with a little bit of an accent that sounded like a pout.
You only talk about your own feelings, but you don't take others' feelings into consideration. It's because of this that young people these days...
If anything, Mari-san, you...
Bourbon, the strongest you've got, on the rocks. No, I'll have it straight.
Didn't you say you weren't going to drink today?
You think I can keep going without a drink? And after all the trouble I went to...
Mari-san? Honestly, I shouldn't be thinking this, but as usual, she's exceptionally cute when she pouts. As I thought, they really are similar.
Another round.
You're drinking a bit too fast. Even though she seems to be blatantly suffering, Mari-san has since then downed 3 glasses of bourbon in quick succession.
Shut up! As if someone like you could claim to understand my feelings.
There's no way I'll understand if we don't talk about them. You don't understand my feelings either, do you, Mari-san? I'm not done talking to you yet, so please, don't drink anymore. Earlier, with a sober face, you promised that you would listen to me, right?
You can't say I'm drunk after only this much.
Even so, please don't drink anymore. I'll be drinking that after we finish. While this certainly does appear to be about how much she usually drinks, she's clearly pushing herself today. After all, her complexion is quickly turning pale. This isn't the time for me to just look at her with a pleasant smile.
Say whatever you want to. I'll listen carefully.
Having her glass taken by me, Mari-san gets increasingly sulky, puts her chin on her hands, and turns her face away from me. Well then, I'll talk. About that night. How I ended up becoming like that. The glass that I took from Mari-san was marked with lipstick that seemed slightly brighter than usual. As I raised the glass's kiss mark up to the light, I began to talk in bite-sized bits. What I was thinking about that time, what I felt, everything. Also, I think I'll get you to judge that. Because if we don't talk this through, there's no way we'll understand each other. Even if me doing so happens to be the most despicable and selfish act in itself. This could get a little long. I'll be going back 3 years. Mari-san, you watched that DVD, right? The live recording of the festival with Toma Kazusa in it? Not only did Mari-san turn her back to me, but now she's even stopped giving me a reaction. And you've seen that I was present with her back then. In spite of that, I still believe that she is honestly listening to me. I returned back to the way I was 3 years ago. The class rep of Hojo High Class 3E, and the backup for the Light Music Club. I told you before about our group that was formed just a few days before the festival, right? That the original unit that was supposed to perform ended up disbanding due to a conflict with a girl. After that, I dragged in Toma, and by cramming in practice, she somehow brought me to the level where I could perform in front of a crowd. In that sense, up until now, I haven't talked about anything but Toma Kazusa. However, there was one more person apart from the two of us that performed with us on that stage. It was our singer, someone that stood out way more than Toma or I ever did. Someone who single-handedly earned the attention and cheers of the audience. The truth is, it wasn't Toma who was the first person that I dragged into the unit. It was that singer. She attended Hojo University, just like I am right now. And well, she and I, Mari-san? The moment I was finally about to delve into the main point of our conversation, Mari-san let out a sound that suggested she was about to throw up after listening to me speak for the whole time.
Sorry.
Eh?
I feel sick, and I don't think I can stand properly. I'm sorry, but could you please help me to the washroom?
I stand corrected. She really was throwing up. Look, we're here, okay? Please pull yourself together. As I finally find the switch to the lights in the darkness, I discover the apartment where I was taken care of in the same state that it was back then. It really has returned to the way it was back then. It only took a week, despite the fact that I had cleaned it up so thoroughly. I'm letting you down, okay? Please ease up a little. I loosen my arms that have been supporting Mari-san's body and slowly place her down on the bed. Mari-san's face is still pale and cold sweat is dripping down her forehead. For now, let's get you some medicine. Where do you keep them?
I might be out.
I have some medicine on me. I have medicine for digestion, colds, headaches, and some turmeric. Would you like any?
You really are extra prepared, huh, Kirahara?
Having this much is common sense. Here, I've brought you some water. Will you drink some? As I hold out a cup to Mari-san as she remains collapsed on the bed, she replies to my gesture only by slightly opening her mouth. I reluctantly tilt the cup such that its edge touches Marisan's lips without spilling any water, and she drinks the water in small sips as it slides down her throat. It doesn't seem like you have a fever. Do you still feel sick right now? Please, you can leave nodding or shaking your head until after you're finished drinking.
Well, you were the one who was asking the questions while making me drink.
In any case, she still seems to be properly conscious. You didn't have to force yourself to come if you weren't feeling well. I could have rearranged the date had you informed me.
Such irresponsible behavior just won't pass when it comes to work.
This isn't work, but a private matter. Isn't it okay to be just a little more irresponsible?
You sure are annoying, aren't you, Kirahara?
Seeming sulky, Marisan turns away from me, though she also relaxes her whole body and slowly stretches out her limbs. She's doing this right in front of the man who attempted to violate her just recently. I know she's not feeling well, but she's still way too defenseless. I think it's for the best that you go to the hospital tomorrow.
Nothing will be open tomorrow. I also happen to have the day off.
Then you're going to get some proper sleep for the whole day tomorrow, right?
You really do love to lecture others, don't you? Even though I'm supposed to be above you in every way.
It's because I'm worried about you, Marisan.
I'm fine. Quite frankly, I've already gotten a lot better now. I could probably go out and get back to drinking again right now, you know?
Please don't overdo it. As I remain exasperated about the fact that Marisan's whining like a child, I can sense signs of improvement from her, which is naturally quite a relief. Her complexion still isn't looking too good, though. And she hasn't completely stopped sweating either. Even so, compared to her miserable state that was so bad that she couldn't even whine back at the bar, she certainly does seem to look a lot better. Doesn't she look a little too comfortable? Before I noticed it, she's only wearing her shirt. She's unfastened her belt and even the button on her shirt. While I can't see anything critical, I can catch a glimpse of what's beneath the gaps of her formal wear. I shouldn't be seeing this, but her bare skin and underwear are you really okay?
Yeah, there's no problem whatsoever now. Sorry I made you worry.
Please don't mind me. So you're alright now, Marisan?
I'm really a lot better now. It's thanks to you, Kirahara.
I'm relieved to hear you say that.
Okay, so...
I should get going now.
Eh?
Marisan's unkempt state made me realize something. Well, take care. I won't be showing up at the editing department for the time being, but I wish you well. The current scene I'm seeing that is different from what I saw the previous week makes me remember.
Why?
What do you mean, why? Isn't that the right thing to do? I just can't continue to be in this apartment. After all, this is the scene of my crime.
Is abandoning me and going home the right thing to do in your eyes?
But you're alright now, aren't you? Didn't you just tell me that a moment ago? The way I am now, I just can't think of a reason for why Mari-san's taking an accusing tone with me at the moment.
Are you going to take my words at face value? You know I'm someone who will try to pass off pneumonia as just a common cold, right? And you know that I'm not someone who takes a day off just because I have a 40 degrees Celsius fever, right?
That's why you should get some proper rest tomorrow. And if you're still uncomfortable even then, take Monday off as well.
Didn't I stay by your side the whole time when you were crying before this? How ungrateful you are.
But why? Why is she taking an attitude with me that I can only describe as extraordinarily cute? I'm a man who tried to violate you, you know?
Ah, that's right. You're a lowlife.
Mari-san stops defending me the moment she starts pouting. That's right. I'm just the worst. That's why I shouldn't be by your side at all, Mari-san. And once Mari-san starts pouting, she destroys herself with logic that's uncharacteristically full of holes. I look at Mari-san once again while keeping my distance. A prominent red has returned to her once pale face, but on the other hand, her wet eyes are reminding me of another emotion right now. While her expression is undoubtedly angry, it's difficult for me to make out the other emotion that's mixed in, and it might be a blend of more than two emotions to begin with. I'll head home now.
Kitahara!
I can't. If I continue staring into her eyes like this, there's no doubt I'll feel drawn to her again. In any case, please get some sleep now. If you still feel uncomfortable when you wake up tomorrow, please give me a call.
Wait a minute.
And if that were to happen, I'd end up doing the same thing I did back then. Rather, I might not even be able to restrain myself, given how feeble Mari-san is this time. Well then, good night.
That's not it. It's not that this is... I haven't actually fallen ill.
Then how are you going to explain this? No matter how I look at it, you look miserable right now.
That's why I'll explain what this is. I think it's the side effect of the medicine I took.
Please don't make stuff up. What medicine are you saying you've taken? Pills? At that moment, I simply couldn't understand what Mari-san was trying to tell me at all. I can only deduce that she was confessing something ridiculous to me. From the way she seemed deep in thought, and how her complexion flared up instantly. Pills?
I started taking them the day before yesterday. I went to a gynecologist for a prescription when I had a break at work. I had no idea where to go back then. So, after crying to Sawako about it, she referred me to a hospital where I could get a prescription after a simple talk with the doctor.
My mind went blank.
I had to skip my meal and wait in line during my break. And Sawako was giving me that kind of gaze of hers all the while. It was so unbelievably embarrassing.
But that medicine is... Why are you taking something like that?
You're asking me why? You have the gall to ask me why? There's only one reason I'd get something like that, don't you think?
It's a contraceptive. And she mentioned she started taking them a day before yesterday. day after I called Mari-san saying I wanted to meet her. Mari-san? With all that said, what are you trying to convey to me?
That's why. Don't say you're heading home.
I was completely rooted to the floor the instant Mari-san murmured those few words to me. But why? After all, Mari-san, what I did to you...
I just can't afford to quit my job right now. That's why getting pregnant isn't something I can afford.
That's not the issue here.
That's just how it is. There's no other reason that I couldn't accept you that day.
The thoughts in my head vanished once more. It's because she unveiled a trump card that completely invalidates the sin of my deplorable actions back then.
No, I'm sorry. There's still one more thing I've been hiding from you. I drank every day while I was on my trip, and that did a number on my skin. It was why I was a little hesitant.
But that's...
Suzuki was terrible, you know. When I finally saw her after a long while, she said to my face, "Your skin's getting ruined, you know."
Hold on a minute.
That's why I stopped drinking for a while. That, and after work, I would go into beauty salons on the way home.
Wait a minute, Mari-san. Just wait a minute.
Still, I ended up going all out with drinking earlier. To have both my mood and my skin ruined, it's just the worst.
Those trivial things don't matter. More importantly, about what you said earlier. Before I knew it, Mari-san's face was right in front of me. Even though I'd only sidled up beside her bed to witness her feverish expression up close.
What's so trivial about that? What should I do if I expose my body while it's not at its best and get rejected by you?
That's why I can hear Mari-san's angry, shrill voice ringing in my ears. And I can feel Mari-san's warm breath teasing my cheeks.
I've blown almost 100,000 yen just this week, all because you said you wanted the two of us to meet alone.
Why would someone like her waste so much money and time for my sake? If she's gone so far and even forgiven me for what I've done to her, does that mean she's... You're telling me that you forced yourself to do all that so you could cover for me? She's offering her body as the ultimate form of protection. Also, she can relieve me of any thoughts of guilt?
You're the one who's been saying such boorish things. Why do you keep beating yourself up like that?
But, after all, Mari-san, as I thought, my attempt to belittle myself was cut down in a single stroke. It's the one thing that's just typical for Mari-san to do.
Even so, you're just that precious of a subordinate to me. So precious, in fact, that I just can't refuse you when you want me.
That's not a thought a superior should be having. And it's not something that a subordinate should be allowed to do either.
Kitahara...
Words like those just can't come out of my mouth anymore. The only thing that's happening is that my hands are unknowingly reaching out to her. No, I don't have any excuses anymore. Without hesitation, I willingly reach out towards Mari-san's cheeks. As I thought, "You're so foolish, Mari-san."
No, this is just risk management.
I don't know a superior who's spoiled by her subordinates, and I can't imagine myself meeting a superior like her ever again in my whole life.
After all, I'm, well, quite a bit older than you.
As my hands tickle her cheeks, Mari-san averts her gaze from mine.
I'm an adult, so there are various countermeasures I should put up.
That's normally something the guy should be doing.
What would you do if you just kept on waiting only for nothing to end up happening? Wouldn't you feel frustrated?
Mari-san, I won't let her turn her face away like her eyes, so I put my hands on her cheeks. Is it alright if I kiss you?
Why are you going out of your way to ask me a question like that? Aren't you someone who goes straight to violating others without a word?
I'm really sorry for what happened back then. It's just that I don't want you to hate me anymore, Mari-san. After all, this is different from the horrible way things transpired back then. I'm quietly desiring her from the bottom of my heart, and I'm calmly realizing what that means. I understand what I'm trying to do right now, and I understand who I'm trying to betray right now. Mari-san. Wait. Okay. That's why even if she rejects me before I can do that, I'll do my best not to let that happen.
I think,
You don't want to? With the way Mari-san's lips are dyed red right now in front of me, it's difficult to resist the urge to make an advance at her. But with the way Mari-san is right now, I absolutely can't force the issue. I just can't commit an act of betrayal again, and upon two people, no less.
let me brush my teeth.
But the determination I've built up was destroyed by Mari-san's words filled with even more determination.
Kissing as we are now, after all, earlier at the bar,
She felt sick and rushed into the bathroom.
Why did things turn out like this? If only I'd realized this sooner.
It's not like I mind it.
Even if you don't mind it, I do.
Once again, I can feel Mari-san's breath on my face as her voice rings in my ears. I can detect the slightest scent of alcohol, but it isn't repulsive in any way. It actually smells quite nice.
Give me a moment. 30 minutes. I'll take a shower while I'm at it. I'm going to clean myself up completely.
Mari-san, what about your condition?
Don't run away now, you hear me? If you go home, I'll tell the police what happened a few days ago.
It seems that I've been worried for nothing. It seems that her condition is something entirely trivial to her, given how flustered she is right now. When I came out of the bathroom, the room had changed to indirect lighting. Since then, it's been an hour. Mari-san used the bath, and then she let me use it as well. I properly filled the bath with water, made sure to heat it up, and slowly calmed down my racing heart. Because it's the same situation back then. So I don't want to make the same mistake I did that time. Mari-san? The bump in the futon above the bed doesn't move an inch. But that part also brings up memories of that time. Mari-san. But I don't stop there. I've already gone past that point by hurting the person in front of me. Please, turn this way.
I don't want to. I don't want to.
If you don't face this way, we can't even kiss.
No, like I thought. This is embarrassing.
When you consider how strong her tone normally is, the words coming out of her mouth with that pitch in her voice are unimaginable.
Just get it over with however you want. It's not like I don't want to or anything.
As if she's trying to hold off until the very end, Mari-san abruptly turns her back towards me. Mari-san, she probably doesn't get it. The fact that if she takes that attitude, it'll only raise her heartbeat unnecessarily. I'm going to touch you, okay?
You can do so without saying anything.
I strip off the futon hiding Mari-san, exposing her limbs as they're not so surprisingly curled up. Beside this small area covered up by a bath towel, the rest of her pearl white skin, fresh out of the bath, glistens back at me. And they bang, with him getting explicit, enthusiastic consent before doing anything and everything.
As for me, it's because work is becoming more and more interesting. Gradually, I've been unable to squeeze out time for the both of us.
Is that so? After we finished, Mari-san didn't take any time to linger and immediately bolted for the bathroom, saying she needed a shower. She's trying to act nonchalant, all the while hiding the bedsheets behind her bag. I'm not sure what she's trying to accomplish by that. She'd be better off wiping off the part where I went inside her if she wants to hide anything.
Our time apart grew from 1 month to 2, and when we finally met each other again after half a year, we both knew we couldn't continue like this.
Having come out of the bathroom, Mari-san looks at me as I'm laying on the bed, and this time, she faces me directly and buries her face in my chest after a moment of hesitation. There's no way I could possibly complain, being able to touch Mari-san's burning hot skin after her bath.
Even so, this is something we should really discuss later on.
After a moment of staring at each other's warmth, Mari-san begins to talk bit by bit.
More importantly, since long ago, while getting hurt by the distance we had, I continued to work to try to forget about it, and it became a vicious cycle where we couldn't meet.
She's telling me something dating back a few years. According to her, it was an event that didn't occur either recently nor very long ago. She doesn't want me to bother wondering about the exact time it happened.
Moreover, the quality of my work was pretty bad back then. It meant that it was a period of time where our current chief editor, who was the managing editor back then, was really mad at me.
So, is that why you have the principle of never running away from one's problems by working?
Now that I think about it, what I did was really terrible. Not to him, but to the person I was interviewing back then.
I can sense nostalgia, a bit of regret, and a bitter aftertaste from her tone. And perhaps an attempt to come up with an alibi or an excuse. I'm sure it was quite the drama, but she clears it up briefly and concisely, almost as if trying to be considerate, or perhaps trying to make someone jealous.
I can't forgive those who run away by immersing themselves in work. I also can't stand those who should enjoy their work but don't.
And finally, she looks towards the present.
That's why I hated the way you acted back then. I really hope that you won't behave like that from now on.
And thus, she ends her narration with the slightest feeling of nostalgia. I won't, but this isn't what I had in mind when I decided that I needed to talk to Mari-san today. That being said, given all that's happened, I can't bring back the conversation to my intended trajectory right now. I wasn't even able to tell her what I originally prepared to tell her in the first place. After all, the way I am now from 2 hours ago has now become the way I was a little while ago. It's no longer a topic I can discuss with Mari-san.
You see, well, with the way things are now, I'll separate my work and private life. But let me be clear that my work comes first.
I don't feel that her strong words match up well with the amount of strength she's putting to wrapping her arms around my back, though.
For example, would we promise to submit our marriage registration at the city hall when we have our lunch break? Hey, what I just said has no other meaning to it whatsoever. Don't lose your head over something so absurd.
I'm sorry. Well, she did bring up quite the absurd suggestion.
Well, let's get to the main topic. What would you do if you were assigned a special report just 12 hours ago and had to fly to the scene no matter what?
Well, I haven't been in that situation before.
Well, that's true. By the way, if it was me, I'd head there no matter what. It wouldn't matter even if I couldn't contract them.
Mari-san.
I might go as far as to ignore the death of a relative if I don't get it right. That's who Kazuoka Mari is right now. But when I go back to my private life, I'd kneel before you. I'd kneel in front of my boyfriend and weep for forgiveness.
Perhaps there are times when our enthusiasm is a little different.
Well, this is something we need to discuss beforehand. I can't be in a relationship with someone who just can't understand how to work.
But I imagine Mari-san really believes that what she's telling me right now is true.
I'll make myself clear, but these aren't questions, alright?
I know. After all, even though I've only known Mari-san for half a year, she's given me plenty of reasons to put my faith in her. And she's the epitome of an ideal workaholic to me. By the way, right now I'm in the process of trying to understand. That wasn't an answer just now.
I see.
She relaxes her arms and her hands touch my cheeks. And as she inches her face close to mine, she initiates a kiss for the first time.
As I thought, you're the man I've been looking for. Well, I should say underling.
Mari-san. I'm sorry, Mari-san. With the way I am now, everything about my world, including myself, has been a lie. The real reason I desired you wasn't because I wanted to heal the wounds I have. After all, I'm scared of losing these wounds, despite how painful they are. And I'm only fooling myself that they're hurting so much. What I've received from you isn't a cure. It's only an anesthetic.
Kirahara?
Mari-san. Mari-san.
Don't treat me like I'm fragile. You're making it seem as if I'm the younger one between us.
I think you're cute, Mari-san.
That's exactly what I'm referring to.
And yet, this anesthetic just feels so good. If this continues on, I'm going to be dependent on her, and I'm going to pass the point of no return. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Yep, Mari was totally up for having sex. She just didn't want to run the risk of getting pregnant. The assault was totally all in Haruki's head. And if Haruki actually listened to what Mari was telling him, he would have known that. On the other hand, Mari is a bit obsessed with this whole Christmas cake thing. You can find love at any age if you just keep your mind open.